In this video, we'll discuss 5 foods that are holding you back from your recovery from long COVID and chronic fatigue syndrome. The last food on this list is actually quite common, and we've all grown up eating it, so stick around to the end to find out what that is. The first food on this list is beef liver. Now, beef liver is typically considered a superfood amongst many esoteric health food circles. It's got plenty of B vitamins, a lot of vitamin A, zinc and minerals as well. So for a healthy person, this is pretty good. Beef liver can actually contain a lot of heavy metals and toxins that haven't been processed correctly. And this is especially the case for cows that haven't lived a very good life or eaten lots of grass during their stay at the farm. So this can actually reactivate viruses and cause an inflammatory response inside the body. The second food on this list is all the artificial, processed, sugary things you can get in the middle of the supermarket or at a service station. Most people are aware that this food isn't very good for us, but for sick people, it's even worse. Typically, they have an inflammatory cytokine storm going on inside of their body. So eating this food is just going to ramp up that inflammation even more. You see, the liver has to actually process all of this artificial food that we eat. And it also has to do this in conjunction with all the virus-infected cells. So your liver has to work double time to do the same work, and that just leads to problems. Before we go on to the next food, if you want to learn more about recovering from chronic fatigue and viruses, consider subscribing to the channel. I talk about many of the gaps in conventional health advice and how to take your health to the next level. The third food on this list is any kind of whey protein. Whey protein is a really good source of amino acids. When it's been produced properly, it is a good source of protein. But the problem is that it's a dairy product, and this can raise inflammation and clog up our lymphatic system. And this is a problem especially for people with chronic fatigue and other viral symptoms. Most sources of whey also come from cows that aren't treated very well throughout their lives, or they haven't had very good food to eat. Finding a replacement protein these days isn't very difficult, as there are plenty of plant sources available. The fourth food on this list is anything that has monosodium glutamate in it, or otherwise known as MSG. MSG is a popular flavor enhancer that can empower our immune system and clog up our lymphatic network. Now, MSG is typically used in a lot of cheap, commercially packaged foods because it can increase the taste of it without increasing the cost very much. And they don't actually have to call it MSG on the product labels because of all these legal loopholes that allow them to do this. Because of this, it's usually easy to just avoid these foods in the first place, because trying to decipher this in a supermarket or a shop is just far too much of a headache. Restaurants also like to add a lot of MSG to their foods because it is so cheap and so easy to add flavor. It's not all restaurants, but a lot of the cheaper ones like to add MSG. Typically, Thai restaurants, Chinese restaurants, Indian restaurants will like to do this. As I said, it's not all of them, but I have noticed it's typically those ones. And usually if you get a dish from one of these places and it's quite a lot cheaper than what you expect or what the competitors are doing, it's a good bet that it's got MSG in it. You can also ask the restaurant owners, like, oh, do you guys use MSG? But pretty unlikely that they'll actually own up to this, because if you're asking about it, then it's likely you don't want it and you'll just turn around if they do it. So MSG has quite a lot of glutamate in it, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter. And this will prevent you from falling asleep and staying asleep very well. So if you get some of this food and you don't have a very good night's sleep, then that's another dead giveaway that you've just consumed a lot of MSG, and you probably shouldn't go back to that restaurant ever again. The final food on this list is very prevalent in our diets, and most of us have consumed it likely from a very young age. And that food is chicken eggs. Chicken eggs are quite a good source of vitamins, minerals, proteins, healthy fats. So it's a very difficult thing to hear, but they also contain specific egg proteins and hormones that are used to grow the chicken embryos. And for a healthy person, this is fine. You don't have a problem with it. But for people struggling with chronic viral symptoms, this can actually reactivate viral replication. See, dormant viruses like to hang out inside of our gut. And when we eat foods like chicken eggs, they pass through the gut and the viruses latch onto them and feed on them. And that's how they can start that viral replication again. And this has been proven in petri dishes and lab experiments. So it's not just some woo-woo mumbo jumbo stuff. It's a real thing. Now, it can be very uncomfortable to hear that some of our favorite foods are actually causing problems for us and holding us back. I used to eat 3 eggs every day for breakfast, or add them to post-workout smoothies. They're just such a great way to get protein and vitamins and minerals, and very keto friendly. But when I stopped eating eggs for breakfast and at all, then my energy shot up significantly and I had a lot more clarity and less brain fog. There's actually far more to this problem than just these 5 foods. I've created a guide that discusses the 4 big pillars that are causing chronic fatigue. In that guide, you'll see what causes them, how to deal with them, and how to finally heal from chronic fatigue. You can check it out in the description below and begin your healing.